Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're finally going to be looking at the all-new Honda Civic Type R. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Stockton 12 Honda here in Utah for giving me some time with this Civic Type R. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And I also need to give a shout out to the new owner, really cool guy, and I really appreciate you giving me some time with your new car. And then as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into the review. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed manual transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 315 horsepower and then 310 pound-feet of torque. I absolutely love the attention to detail here with the engine. Look how it says Type R there and then the carbon fiber. That is fantastic. Before I go over the front end, I do want to mention if you see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, starting here with the hood, if you guys are wondering, this color is called Boost Blue and it looks fantastic in person. And yes, that is functional, but it also looks cool. And then coming down below, you guys can see we've got these really cool LED headlights here with the daytime running lights. And then of course, we've got the red Type R Honda logo, and then we have a Type R badge there off to the side. And then look how open everything is. You need a lot of airflow for that turbocharged engine, and again, it just adds to the aggression. And then it's all blacked out here at the very bottom. And then when you put it all together, it looks absolutely fantastic, especially at night with the lights on. Let me tell you, best looking Type R ever. Our tire and wheel setup is 265/30/19 in the front and over in the rear as well. And you can see here with the design, the wheels are all blacked out. Again, you got that red Honda logo there in the center. Now we do have Brembo brakes here in the front, and big news with the new Type R, we do have adaptive suspension. And for those of you wondering, yes, that is functional. And then putting it all together, you guys can see the contrast between the wheels and the Boost Blue, the side skirts there, the venting, and then all of the effects there on the front as well. It just all comes together and it looks great. Now here's a quick look at the key fob for the Type R. It's pretty normal Honda key fob. You have the unlock function, the lock function, and then the opening here for the hatch will unlock it. But notice, red Honda logo there on the back. Now when it comes to opening the trunk, pretty easy. There's a popper right here, and then you can just pick the hatch right up. Now the Type R has all of the cargo benefits of the regular Civic hatchback, so it's really spacious back here. Notice we have a cargo cover built in from the factory, and it's also there on the back of the hatch, so everything is covered up. And it's actually pretty easy to remove it. You just basically pull that back, and then it kind of goes into place. But practicality is definitely there. When it comes to lowering the hatch, they actually give you a handle right here to help you, so you can just pull it down. The taillights here on the Type R look absolutely fantastic. And then we have this gigantic spoiler here on the back end, you know, because race car, right? And then red Honda badge, you got your Type R badge there on the other side. And then notice the Civic badge has been blacked out. We've got the 3 exhaust tips here in the center, and don't you worry, we'll give you guys an exhaust clip a little bit later in the video, and then just look how aggressive this diffuser is. And then when you pull it all together, the back end of this car looks amazing, especially in person. And that's something I do want to mention is this car looks a lot better in person than it does in photos. It's actually a pretty photogenic car overall, but seeing this in person, it makes me love it so much more. Now I do quickly want to mention this review is being filmed at night, and so lighting's not going to be the best, so I am going to have to use my flashlight for some of these shots. And well, speaking of flashlight, you guys can now see the red stitching here. Love the material use. And then window control. Now, just like with the previous generation Civic Type R, the back seats are actually black. You guys can see the red stitching there with the red seat belt, which is pretty cool. But notice that the carpets are bright red. We've got some cup holders there in the center, and got my old man slippers on, but legroom's great. I probably look really creepy right now, but headroom's also good. Now the front door panel is pretty much identical to the rear with the material use and the stitching. You guys can see the front 2 windows are automatic. You've got all of your mirror adjustments, and then look at the ambient lighting. That is beautiful. And then there's a quick look at the mirrors themselves. And then here's the front seat. You guys can see Type R there at the top, and then you have the holes in it for a racing harness. And the bolstering on the seat is really aggressive. Notice the seat is manual with the adjustments. Okay, so we've got a payload capacity of 680 pounds. Gross vehicle weight rating is 3968. So that means this thing weighs like 3,300 pounds. Well, actually, a little bit less. We of course have the 3-pedal layout, and then you guys can see here, Type R on the floor mat. And yes, the floor mat and the floor is red. We've got a couple controls here on the side for like the safety tech, and then the stability control, and then the steering wheel is, well, manually adjustable. Now, starting with the steering wheel, you've got the red stitching there in the center, and then I love the trim on the outside. Definitely looks very premium. Red Honda logo, of course. We've got our volume and voice command controls on the one side, and then you do have your cruise control with the steering assist. This does have adaptive cruise control, if you're wondering. And then we have our turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. So we've got this full digital gauge cluster, and I can actually scroll through a bunch of different menus to see different bits of info on the car and systems within the car. Again, pretty standard stuff, but the cool party trick is when you actually change the drive modes. So we have a few different drive modes. We've got an individual mode. We have a sport mode, and notice in the sport, it's like red and aggressive, and then we have our comfort mode, and we have a plus R mode, which is like your racetrack mode, and look how sweet that is with the RPMs. I'll give it a little like baby rev so you can kind of see. That's fun. Honda did a great job with this. Now, this does have a traditional backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and resolution is actually pretty solid with the camera. You even have that zoom function. As for the infotainment system itself, you've got these shortcut buttons here on the side. So for example, I can scroll over and then press the home button, and then it'll take me back. Really easy system to use, and you probably noticed this little tab right here. This is where the fun begins. And okay, so I guess we got to go through all of this. And this is basically like your little racetrack page. Look at this. You can check all the systems on it. Wow. That is fun. Yeah, you can see like everything here on the car now. Sorry I spent a little bit too much time on that page, but I do want to finish off with saying that it's so cool, all of the performance information you can see. And look at that, built-in G meter. So this has Honda's Mega Vent is what I call it. The center portion there obviously is an event. And look at that, you got the chassis number right there. That is another cool touch with the Type R. Now we have our climate controls. This does have a dual zone climate system, and all the controls within the Type R, just like with the new Civic, feel so much more high quality compared to the previous generation. We've got a wireless phone charging pad down below, some USB ports, you know, the normal stuff. This right here is our drive mode select we went through earlier, and then that's your plus R mode, so it's its own separate button. And then we do have our parking brake and then our brake hold. Now this right here is the pinnacle of the interior. This is the shifter for the new Type R, and just like the previous generation, really notchy, and this feels so high quality. It's not just like a cheap piece of plastic thrown on, like just feels so high quality. I will mention though, this feels like it would get pretty hot in the sun, so I recommend getting window tint with your Type R. If you're wondering, reverse lockout is just all the way over to the side. But yeah, I mean, for the money, the best feeling shifter in a car. And while we're on the topic of the manual transmission, the clutch also, like, actuation on that feels really good. We've got a couple cup holders here in the center, and then we've got the center console, which has material used to match the door panel, and well, it's a center console, but it has red stitching. And then if you're wondering, the glove box is, well, a glove box. And last but not least, this actually has a manual mirror dimmer, and it just has a darker colored headliner. And then look at that ambient lighting yet again. Now here's a window sticker for this Type R. You guys can see almost everything is standard equipment, and if you guys are wondering on all the performance stuff, there's that for you. Base price is now $42,895. Total MSRP, $44,385. Just to give you guys a reference for that, the last generation Type R with a similar spec to this would have been about $38,000, and then the special edition Type R was about this amount of money. So a regular Type R for the new generation is as much as the special edition was for the previous generation. And, well, let's sum things up. So let's sum things up with this Type R review, and then yes, I will get you guys an exhaust clip with the different exhaust modes. So here's the deal. This looks significantly better compared to the previous generation, especially seeing this in person. Like, yeah, it doesn't have the same crazy styling, but it simply looks so much better. The interior is so much nicer. The seats are more comfortable. Everything about this car is so much better compared to the previous generation. Now, what I do want to say is obviously I haven't driven the car quite yet, but I did ask the new owner if they were willing to let me drive the car once they have the car broken in, and well, we'll see if that ends up happening. If you are the new owner and you happen to be watching this video, just give me a message on Instagram, Ben_HardyPL, and like I said, I'd be more than happy to do a full review on the car. But as it stands, this is the best Civic Type R ever, hands down, and if you're lucky enough to get one, then well, you're lucky enough to get one. It's such a cool car. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Stock 12 Honda for giving me some time with the Civic Type R, and to the new owner as well for being so accommodating with letting me review their car before they take delivery of it. I really appreciate it. And with that being said, let's get into the exhaust clips, and then we'll sum things up, and then not sum things up, then the video will be over. That's all.